Hey guys, so today's product review is on the TSG Pass. After watching this product review, you're going to know whether it's right for you or whether you should pass on it. I'm also going to be talking about whether you need a full face helmet or not. And I'll also be talking about whether this helmet is suitable for other sports. So if any of those things interest you, check out the review. So first things first, let's look at the specifications of this helmet. So this helmet is certified. It has the ASTM F1952 certification and the EN 1078 certification. Both certs are for downhill mountain biking. It's a bit of an odd certification for this helmet, but it is going to protect you. It comes in 4 main sizes from small, medium, large, all the way to extra large. It comes with 2 visors, which are both removable. You get like a clear visor, this one, and a shiny reflective visor, which is very cool. Comes with a D-ring strap, which is apparently super secure. I don't know how true that is. And then the pads are removable as well. It has 2 cheek pads which are removable, and then like a liner for the head here, which is also removable and secured by like these sort of magnetic straps, which you just sort of push in and you can hear like a click, just like that. It has EPS foam around like this bowel sort of section, but there's no EPS foam here where like your jaw goes. And it is certified, it is safe, but I don't know, I'd like some EPS foam here, but I guess it is safe. And it does have some other features which makes it a pretty great helmet, and we'll be going into that in the review. As always, there's an in-depth write-up in the bio. Check that out if you want a more detailed and more clear explanation and review of this helmet. So if you relate to the following things, you should consider getting a full face like the TSG. So a full face is really appropriate if you consistently find yourself skating above 30-40 miles per hour. With the chin bar and the thicker EPS foam, these helmets give you better protection and they're better for taking impacts at those higher speeds. They also provide a lot of clarity and calmness. Because you have a visor and because your ears are covered, your face isn't being abused by the wind as much. You know, your eyes stop tearing, there's not as much wind noise, and it's a lot clearer and calmer at those higher speeds. So if you want that experience, definitely get a full face. Full face is also a good idea if you skate a lot in winter time. During winter time, if you have like the wind going into your face, like it can really make your eyes bleed or tear up, and it's just really painful against the face. So having something and like a visor that keeps your face warm is really nice, and these things are pretty clutch for winter skating, and yeah, keep you warm and keep you enjoying skating during the coldest part of the year. You should also get a full face if you're thinking of attending IDF/GGA events. I believe full faces are mandatory for those events. Yeah, this will just allow you to comply with those rules and actually attend the events. So if you can relate to the following points, then a full face might not be right to you. If you spend the majority of your time skating slower than 40 miles per hour, slower than 30 miles per hour, a full face is typically going to be overkill. A half shell will typically be enough security and enough safety for you when you skate at these slower speeds. Walking up the hill with this is quite a burden. These helmets are heavy and it's very easy to sweat and get hot in them. Whenever I use these things for corner sessions, they're super uncomfortable. Half shells are by far much better, and if you just do corner sessions, if you don't skate that fast, half shells are going to be more appropriate than a full face helmet. And if you typically get back up the hill by walking, full face might not be that good for you. You're going to be sweating a lot and it's going to get really hot inside it. If you do walk up back the hill but you skate at 60 miles per hour down it, then a full face is completely mandatory, I'd say. Okay, finally, let's get into the review. So first thing is the TSG Pass Heavy. Yes, it's kind of heavy. It's heavier than like your standard half shell. The first time I used it, I felt a little bit sore around my neck. And when I was in tuck, I could really feel the weight of the helmet. But after a couple of sessions, it stopped being so heavy and my neck kind of got used to the weight. But initially, that's something that's going to be uncomfortable for you, just getting used to the weight. And the weight comes from all the extra EPS foam as well as the extra fiberglass, and yeah. The visibility in the TSG is really good and it's really impressive. I don't know if you can hear me very well, but at the extremities, yes, your vision is a little bit restricted, but when you're looking dead ahead, pretty much okay. And yeah, this kind of extends just past your eye socket, so you do get like great peripheral vision. And as well, it's really good in tuck. The helmet kind of sits just where my hairline starts. When I'm in tuck and trying to like look out at the tuck, I have like really good vision. In fact, the vision with this helmet is much better than that of a half shell. The half shell kind of sits lower on my head. And then another thing, yeah, you can kind of see this, but your brain kind of automatically blocks this out, and this doesn't in any way affect your vision. So yeah, as you can see with the half shell, it kind of sits a little bit lower, probably Just about the same as the TSG, to be honest. But when I'm in tuck, I can't really like see past this and it blocks my vision. But with the TSG, that's not really an issue. But yeah, the TSG just has like really good visibility. It's pretty great. Is the TSG comfortable and how does it fit? The TSG is comfortable and it fits pretty well. I went for size S. However, it's a bit snug and sometimes I do feel a little bit claustrophobic and it's a bit hard to get into the helmet. When I initially bought them, people told me that over time the pods are going to like smush a little and you'll have a little bit more wiggle room. That didn't happen. But I don't use my TSG as much as I use my half shell, unfortunately. So if you are someone who's used the TSG a lot, like almost every other session, have your pads like smushed? Have they got a little bit thinner? Has it given you a little bit more like moving room? Let me know in the comments. First few times you use it, you're gonna be worried by how snug this helmet is. It's like really snug. Yeah, and because there's one shell size, if you're lucky, though it is difficult, you can get your hands on some larger or smaller pads and play around with the sizing a little bit and get a more or less snug fit. Unlikely though, as they're hard to come by, but it is an option. How does the TSG feel in the tuck? The TSG feels very natural and very ergonomic in the tuck. It has great visibility, so you can even like place your head even lower. It's pretty great in tuck. One thing you will notice, as I did say earlier, is the weight of it. If you're coming off using a half shell, it is a bit heavy and this is going to strain your neck a bit initially, but you do get used to this fairly quickly, and in a couple sessions it should feel pretty natural. If you haven't noticed yet, it has a removable visor and you can remove it by sort of using a coin and twisting these things here, and then you can kind of like remove this thing. Actually, let me try that. So then you get this thing with the screw and you can remove the visor, and also the visor is adjustable, which is really nice. Like when you're skating and there's a bit of fog or you just feel a bit hot, you can kind of lift it up gently, let the air out and then close it. Some helmets, like it's either they stay open fully or they stay closed, or they can't like stay open at all. So this is a nice feature of the TSG. And yeah, because the visor is removable, this is really nice when you're skating it in hot climates. Is it hard to hear outside of this helmet? Kind of, yes. When I have it on and I'm just like standing still and trying to talk to my friends, it is hard to hear out of this helmet and the noise is reduced. But when you're skating fast, this is a good thing because it dulls out that wind noise and it's not as noisy and your ears don't end up ringing as much or at all, because it's able to block the sound, and that's a really nice feature in my opinion. I feel like in order for me to be just as aware as I am with my half shell, I have to kind of keep looking around when I have this helmet, but it's just something to keep in mind. Okay, let's talk about the visor. Does it fog up and how does the helmet deal with ventilation? Now, the way the helmet deals with ventilation and fog is in two ways. So the first is this little horseshoe thing. So this thing sits about here on the helmet. There's a bit of Velcro that it attaches to here, and you're meant to place your mouth on it like this. Now, when you place your mouth on it like this, it's supposed to direct your breath downwards and prevent it from coming back up the helmet and causing the visor to fog. There's also these two ventilation holes which allows cold air to come in, and it does okay, but the helmet does fog up for me once in a while when I do use the visor. There are aftermarket ways you can deal with this. They're like solutions where you rub dish soap on it. Write Up has more information on this, but yeah, it does fog up sometimes, but I don't really think that's a deal breaker. Most helmets will fog up and no system is perfect. So does the TSG Pass actually keep you safe? The answer is yes. It has thick EPS foam and it's been passed under rigorous testing. It does have the ASTM and the EN certification, so it is guaranteed to protect your head when you do eventually hit it. God forbid. I said eventually, man, that's brutal. If you do hit it. Wow, touch wood. Okay, so let me talk about the things I didn't like about the TSG. The first thing is this pad. This pad does wear out. As you can see, mine is already coming out. If you do use your pads a lot, I do think you can buy some replaceable ones on the website, and you do get an extra one when you buy the helmet, but it does wear out pretty quickly, which I didn't like. The other thing I didn't like is how snug the helmet fits. This is both a good and a bad thing. I didn't like it because every time I put this helmet on, it kind of chafes my ears. And if I'm skating a whole day and taking off the helmet and putting it back on, my ears feel quite sensitive at the end of the day. The other thing is the helmet is not so good in hot weather. The heat tends to build up very quickly and it can get uncomfortable. That's why I say it's only best like if you don't have to physically exert yourself so much. But yeah, that issue can be dealt with like lifting the visor occasionally. The other thing is the visor isn't that good in wet weather. It doesn't deal with droplets very well, and the droplets tend to stay on the helmet. I've dealt with this by sort of skating with the visor half open when it's wet, but you know, that's not really a deal breaker. To be honest, skating in the rain just sucks generally, and visibility is always poor no matter which helmet you use. But yeah, I just thought it would be something to point out to you guys. There's also going to be a link in the description for buying this product. I urge you guys to use it. It's an affiliate link. If you do use it, I get a small commission at no extra cost to you guys, and it just allows me to keep doing things like this. So please do use it, and yeah, don't pass on the link. So yeah, in conclusion, I definitely think the TSG Pass is worth the money. It's expensive, but it's definitely worth it in terms of safety and quality. As always, big thanks to my patrons, big thanks to everybody who subscribed so far. If this review, do subscribe or do share it with your friends. And yeah, you guys have a good one. Catch you in the next one.